Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nut House. I hope you all are doing well. It is hot here in Georgia, so we're going to do a stovetop meal that doesn't require the oven. We're going to be making Korean beef and rice. It's super simple and really delicious. I'm going to start by getting my rice made. Now, I always make my rice in the Instant Pot because I really am no good at doing it on the stovetop. I tend to burn it or turn around and forget it. So I'm going to set my Instant Pot on saute, and I'm going to put a little olive oil in the pan and add some garlic and onions. Now you can make your rice however you like to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and chop this red onion from our garden up and put it in there, and I'm gonna cut it kind of big so that my boys can pick it out if they don't want it in there. I'm gonna go ahead and get that in, and a couple tablespoons of fresh garlic, or jarred garlic in this case. Of course, you can leave this out and just do plain rice, but this gives rice a lot of flavor since rice has very little flavor on its own. We're going to saute this until it gets translucent and fragrant, and then I'm going to add in my rice. Now I'm using jasmine rice, which is my favorite, but you can use whatever you like. I'm going to add 3 cups to a strainer, and I'm going to go ahead and wash or rinse the rice really well until the rice liquid runs clear. That way I've removed most of the starch that would make my rice gummy. Now I'm going to add my rice to the pot, and then I'm going to let this saute until the rice begins to brown just a little bit. You'll start smelling it. It smells kind of nutty, and then you know that you're ready to add your liquid. To season this rice, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of salt. And I'm using pink Himalayan salt here, and I'm adding some more garlic powder. I'm really not measuring it because we really like garlic, so I would say I use probably a teaspoon, if not more, of garlic powder. But you can put in whatever flavor seasonings you like, but normally I use garlic powder, onion powder sometimes, salt, and black pepper. Now here I'm just stirring it along so that the rice can brown or toast. Basically it's toasting just a little bit until I smell it. And then I'm going to add, for the Instant Pot, you use the same amount of rice that you use for your liquid, and I'm just going to use water today. So I use 3 cups of rice, so I'm using 3 cups of water, and then I'm going to make sure all those little bits of rice are down in that water so they can cook. And then I just turn it on the rice setting, and it does the work for me, and it's perfectly tender, fluffy rice. And when I'm done, I might add a tablespoon or 2 of butter, just because buttered rice is so delicious. But anyway, now I'm going to move on. I'm going to get my pot to boil because I'm going to put some broccoli in it as a side. And I'm doubling the recipe today, but I'm going to give you the measurements for a single recipe. So 1 pound of ground beef is the single recipe, and we're just going to get that sauteing in the pan until it's done. Now I like to take mine a little farther than just gray. I want the beef to caramelize just a little bit. It adds so much flavor to the end product. So I'm going to let mine cook a little bit longer and saute up really good until it gets little bits on it. I wanted to thank you all for watching our videos. It really means a lot to us. And also, for those of you who have subscribed, thank you so much. And if you're watching our videos and haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It would help our channel out so much. We really appreciate it. Now I'm going to add some garlic to the pan. Now, the recipe usually calls for 3 cloves of garlic, but again, I'm adding way more because we love garlic, but you can add just what the recipe says if you would like. Here I am getting the frozen broccoli into the boiling water. Now I've salted my water pretty heavily because that's how I'm going to get the broccoli to taste good. If I were to cook it without any salt, it would just be bland. So I've got that going, and now I'm going to go ahead and get some of this grease off of my hamburger. I do not want it in the pan. I want to get as much of that off, and I just do that by using a paper towel. Go ahead and remove most of it. That way that burger can continue to caramelize in this iron skillet. And then we're going to add in the rest of our ingredients. Now we're going to add in the ground ginger. The recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, but I'm using fresh ginger, so I added more, probably close to 1/2, 3/4 teaspoon. And we're just going to let that cook a little bit and become fragrant. Now I'm adding 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Now I did not quite double that in my recipe because sesame oil is pretty strong. So 1 tablespoon, and then we're going to add 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Of course, you can use coconut aminos if you don't want to use soy sauce, but go ahead and get that in there and stir it around. And then we add 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Now, I'm sure you can use any sweetener you would like, but the brown sugar is what the recipe calls for and what I always use. Now is when you can add the half teaspoon to 1 teaspoon, depending on how spicy you like it, of crushed red pepper. We're going to add that, and then I have some scallions from our garden that I had frozen, and I add those into it as well. And this is what it looks like when it's caramelized and done. Now I have mixed the broccoli into the rice and the beef, and that's all there is to it. And it made a huge bowl so we can eat on it for lunches throughout the week. If you get a chance, I hope you can try out this recipe and leave me a comment down below if you tried it and how you liked it. We love it. It's one of my husband's favorites. And here I am with a bowl of it ready to eat. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.